Edward Anderson, and this is a topic I kind of interweave it every once in a while in my live streams, but this is not something I typically talk about. Definitely not something I typically do a direct call out. So I'm gonna give a couple of disclaimers. The first and the most important, I don't give a fuck who listens to this video. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck who your audience is. Fuck you, go to hell. I don't give a fuck. I stand on what I'm saying. And this video is gonna be stay up. And if it does get messed with, it'll just go to my in my other social media network. So people who want to see it are still gonna see it. So I want to say that right now. So everything I'm about to say is gonna come out of my mouth. I stand behind 110%, including any name calling I do, including any audiences I reference. I don't apologize. I don't give a damn. And I stand on what I stand on. That's the first disclaimer. That's the most important disclaimer. Second disclaimer, before we get started in the video, is that, well, no, I'll get right into it. That's the only disclaimer that really matters. That's the only disclaimer that really matters. So anyway, shout out to the person that shared this in my Discord. This is, I have certain people in my, and I consider myself pro-black. I am pro-black. I'm just a pro-black from a capitalist standpoint versus how a lot of people present it, which is really not pro-black, but more so pro-matriarchy. And that's where the difference I deviate, because you already know I'm not pro-matriarchy. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. The black community has to be a matriarchy to be what it is. It doesn't need to exist. So that's non-negotiable. But and shout out to SWP too. SWP did a really good video, really going over this situation. And I'm gonna actually link in the description once I'm done with this video, and I will refer you to that video because he really goes through it. It's somebody that's in medical. And I have my own personal experience with this stuff too, by the way. Not from a medical standpoint, from more an interpersonal standpoint. And I'm gonna speak to that with this. And I'm not gonna necessarily, I am gonna kind of go where you think I'm going with this, but I'm not gonna go exactly where you think I'm going with this. So let me say that first. So let's get right to it. For those of y'all don't know, there was a very, unfortunate brutal stabbing of a Ukrainian white woman. I mean, I shouldn't even say white woman that, was refugee status. One of the many that got refugee status, working a job, doing what she was doing on social media, trying to make it in modeling, somebody that hasn't really messed with nobody anyway. And then she got stabbed by a black male, African-American male, and very brutally in the neck, and she died. I believe he's in custody right now. And SWP has done a very good job kind of talking about a lot of nuances with this in regarding to the system and medical. And before I get into my own personal experience with this, to kind of concur what he was talking about, and if you all haven't seen that video, you should check it out because it does a great job going over this as well as going over the history of this. And that really spoke to me because I've had to live a lot of this. I don't have any mental issues, but as far as dealing with people with that, blah blah blah. First thing, as far as this woman, as far as this dude is concerned, although I do agree that most likely he has whatever medical issue that he has, I'm sorry, I can't co-sign. I'm sorry, I just can't co-sign you stabbing somebody in the neck brutally like that. I don't give a fuck how many demons you I don't give a damn how many demons you hear in your head. I just want to be very clear that although I absolutely believe he has mental issues, and I agree he has mental issues, and this is not a quote-unquote black thug situation that a lot of white boys like to act like it is, I can't co-sign. To me, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I don't believe in that your temporary insanity shit should just whitewash the actions that you have. I just don't believe in that. Black man, white man, you do stuff like this heinous, that I'm sorry. I just can't co-sign that. So I want to be very clear in case any, bitch ass white boy or whoever listens to this. This ain't we're gonna cop pleas because he has mental illness, and I don't do what y'all do. we don't do what y'all do, where y'all make excuses for your folks, despite not dealing with racism, your folks basically shooting up your women and children because some incels can't get some pussy. And this is going to be also about the greater white manosphere too. Incels that can't get some pussy, so y'all basically shoot up y'all own because you're mad. You know, elementary school kids and shit like that. And then y'all off yourselves, you do cowardice to actually own what you did. Then turn around and then you want to you know, give these people an excuse whenever somebody does violence against somebody else, another group, you know, whatever excuses, whether that Hispanic dude in Texas, you know, where they gave him like 4th degree, whatever. I don't make those excuses. Crazy people need to, I'm sorry, even if I believe they're crazy, depending on what happens, if somebody dies, we're not doing the crazy bin thing. I personally don't believe in that. Now, people may disagree with that, but I don't believe in that. I believe the actions have consequences no matter what your mental faculties are, and that just is what it is. And people can disagree with that all they want to. I know a lot of people are selective in believing that. A lot of people believe that depending on who it is and what the situation is. I think you all are cowards. And a lot of you all make a lot of excuses for your own groups doing violence. And so I'm not going to do that. So that's not what type of video this is. So as far as that dude, if he actually stabbed it, it's obviously on video he did. Stabbing somebody in the neck like that, that's a bad way to go out. That's a bad way to go out. It's a brutal way to go out. It's a painful way to go out. On somebody that, you know, regardless who it is, but somebody that, you know, fled war-torn stuff. I mean, I empathize with her in that situation. And unfortunately, hey, whatever white people want to do with them is what you want to do with them. So as far as, like, whatever happens to dude, I'm not about to co-sign that. And to me, anybody that wants to, you know, do a GoFundMe for quote unquote his justice, because you feel some type of way greater about, you feel some type of way about him not getting justice. I mean, it's on video. He did it. This is not the same situation as, you know, the black man's son got messed up by the police or killed by the police, and then he went and ran somebody over because he was seeing red. I got more empathy for that. That's not the same. He ran a cop over because he was seeing red because he had just shown the film, which, by the way, he shouldn't have been shown. The police shouldn't have showed him that. So they were low-key, like, antagonize him, in my opinion. I'm just a Negro with an opinion, but that's not the same thing, and I don't believe that dude died. So I'm not saying it's always if you do it, you do it. There are circumstances, but I just can't co-sign you stabbing somebody in the neck. I don't give a damn what demons you see in your head. Now, and this is not that type of video. That being said, let me tell you something about my own personal experience. For people that know, they know. I have an aunt that has schizophrenia. Now, my aunt is not violent. She's never been violent. And most people that have these issues are not violent. But my aunt, and I actually just visited her yesterday. You know, her birthday was yesterday. She was 67 years old. And it's, you know, I visit her more than my mom did. But it's always tough when my aunt acts like my mom is still alive when I know she knows she's not. And I can't really, that being said, but you know, you don't know when you jump into this and jump out of this. And I say that, and this is something, my mom took care of my aunt for 10 years. This is her older sister, about 3 years. One of the few people that she actually had, you know, despite a lot of family issues, you know, like Hatfield and McCoy bullshit, that, you know, my family's been on the bad side of my side of the family. But that being said, and I got lawyers and shit in my family, so let's not play this game like I don't come from one of those type of families, but whatever. But when it comes to how the money's disseminated, you know, my side tends to always fall on the on the bad, on not the great side, you know. So that is what that is. But my point is, when my mom first brought my aunt to, you know, area I'm in, North Carolina, we had a location called Dorothea Dix. This was like the main insane asylum, you know, mental institution was there. This was like the main one. It was the main thing that all the other ones kind of branched off from. And SFP has done a great job talking about the history of the Democrats and the Republicans, mainly the Democrats and the Republicans both removing funding, which has led to a lot of not only removing the funding, but also the way they tried to distribute it, doing like inpatient care and that bullshit, and they never funded it. And I wanted to give voice to what that actually looks like. When my mom got my aunt from California, which they had my aunt strapped down, and she wasn't that bad, but they had her strapped down for like 10 years. Literally, I didn't see my aunt for time I was like 9 years old until I was probably like 27. That's how long ago it was. And my aunt has a daughter, actually has a grandson that I actually am working on getting him over here. So these are very real things I'm talking about. Not like, oh, I'm just giving an opinion. So, and obviously this is anecdotal. And I'm gonna get into the part that's in the thumbnail in a second, but I wanna set the table real quick. So, when she brought her here, Dorothea Dix still existed. And it wasn't told that it would be gone. Literally the month my mom brought my aunt over here, the idea was she was supposed to be in and out of that. They closed it because they're tired of getting sued. So is every mental institution tired of getting sued, which is AKA they were tired of paying for it, tired of insuring it. That's really what that was. And you got all these small facilities that manage that quote unquote inpatient care bullshit. And what it does is for 10 years, luckily my mom was retired, but for 10 years, my mom had to do a literally like almost a 24/7 work. And I helped, which is why when people used to always say, I live with my mom, which is not true, was never true. People used to say that. It was because that's one of the reasons I was always driving back and forth on top of the stuff I would do. And I took on that, even though I was against actually bringing my aunt over here for reasons, because I thought it would shorten my mom's lifespan. And I hate being right, but I was right. And I took on that burden like I'm taking it kind of on now, so my brothers didn't have to deal with it. Because they have their own lives to live. I'm the oldest, blah, blah, blah. And even though I didn't want my aunt to be here, that was like one of the last things, my mom did. So I carry that on me. And I'm not saying this for a guilt trip. I'm just saying this is what the fuck it really is. So of all the things the government needs to pay for, because people don't want to be seeing these homeless people out here like that. And this, by the way, I forget what his name, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. Fuck Mike Johnson. He talks about able-bodied, which is funny. He talks about able-bodied people should work and all this bullshit. Like a lot of males that's on these disability things, they're fucking whatever mental issue they have. These are white men. There ain't no black men on this bullshit. Because black men will be homeless. They'll let because that's what the majority of homeless is. So a lot of these white boys are on this shit. These white boys, they're genetic dead ends and shit like that. Let's keep it all the way real. But at the same time, when you put people in situations like this and you don't deal with it and fund it the way you need to fund it, crazy shit happens. Like, the school shootings with the white boys. Because what you're doing is you let these people stay out, or they stay in households. I mean, shit, you could go Turkey Tom. That dude covers a lot of what they call, I didn't even know this existed, locals, which are people that are like this. A lot of them are like this. Some of them are homeless. Most of them are white. My point is that what SWP is saying with the system has real consequences. And I will always kind of feel some type of way. My mom did a full-time job. What should have happened was we should have got either tax breaks or we should have got paid. Just like fucking foster parents get paid for raising children. Because my aunt now is considered a ward of the state. But at that time, my mom had custody of her like another parent. And that actually shortened my mom's lifespan. And my mom ended up dying at 62. and this is something I don't necessarily bring it up, but I want people to really, I want to really breathe a lot of life into what Sergeant Willie Pete was saying, you know. And obviously as a medical professional, you know, he did a very good job of breaking that down. But this doesn't just affect black people, this affects white people too. And it actually affects white people more because it's more of them. And quite frankly, white people are more fragile, mentally fragile than black people are, because we've been dealing with racism since we got here. So we have a certain level of hardiness when it comes to just dealing with bullshit, versus white people have actually gotten weaker because they haven't had it. And that's just a fact. People can get mad about it all they want to. They can feel some type of way, but that's kind of why your women aren't fucking with you or having kids with you like you think they should. It comes back to that. As Bane said to Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, you're a victim of your own success. Europe is going through that too, and Europe is actually worse off than America because Europe has been living fat off of the welfare state paid for by American military, and America is providing the protection for Europe, so Europe didn't have to protect themselves. So a lot of stuff is coming full circle, and that's why they're going through it worse. I mean, there was a video from Moon. You should check this out. Moon, by a white person, the Moon website, Moon YouTube channel. That I didn't realize how bad it was in the UK. The UK is fucked. The UK is fucked. And no, it's not immigrants' fault, although that's like the big thing. It's because you all let them not you know, not have guns and all of that, and that's a whole nother thing. But my point, going back to it, digressing, is that when they defunded that shit, you know, it was either send her back or deal with it, and we dealt with it. And the how much nurses cost, how much these things cost, the government literally pawns that on people. So, and this is not just like my mom, the white women that are taking care, white people that are taking care of autistic, we ain't talking about kids, we're talking about grown people now. You know, grown folks that, you know, people park these people in a home. They actually overloaded these assisted living retirement facilities, because the retirement facilities can only get so much money because they get money based on the social security that these people have or get depending on what disability it's on. And so you create a bad situation that these people have to be overly worked and all that, just like how they fuck the schools because they don't want to fund it. Because, you know, the rich people that want the homeless people to go away don't want to pay their fucking taxes to what they need to, even though they link over the American consumer. And I'm a capitalist, but we got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. At the end of the day, rich people are not going to war if we go to war. That's regular people that's going to have to fucking do that. And so this stuff just doesn't affect, you know, black, even though I speak mainly on black people, and I can speak on from my experience. There's a lot of people that are going through it right now, you know, because people don't want to function. This is one of the reasons why I've never smoked weed in my life, but I am absolutely a advocate for legalizing marijuana, if for nothing else than for the money. We have an extensive medical system. This would actually very much so fund this, as well as funding our teachers, as well as which is the only real issue the North Carolina school system is, they don't pay the teachers enough. And this will fund a lot of necessary things, as well as get rid of state income tax, which, by the way, will attract a lot more old people, which is a lot of active working money to come retirement benefits. This is why when you hear me say shit like that, there's real reasons behind that. All right. So what are you talking about? It was staged. It wasn't staged. Well, what are you talking about? Okay, so this is what we're not gonna do. Swift, yeah, she was trying to model, as every pretty bitch does, if they can come in the United States. Yeah, she was fairly attractive, but she was actually working at I think she had like she was working at a Domino's or something. So what we're not gonna do is come in here and say it's staged when there's cameras that actually literally show the act. So we're not gonna do that. It's cameras on the bus. So we're not gonna play that. I don't do that. That's something white people do. Like, if you got cameras of it happening, it happened. So we're not gonna play that game. We're not gonna play that game. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, for my mods or anybody coming in here with the denialism, I'm telling y'all right now, don't type that shit. That's what the white boys do in a minute. We don't do that here. If shit happens, shit happens. You know, it is what it is. So anyway, we don't hide behind shit and start playing that game. I don't do that. I'm not gonna say Tariq does it, but I don't do that. So that being said, I actually asked somebody that he's about to clean my headlights, like, get them, like, how you unfog them and shit, and that's what that call was. But like I was saying, at the end of the day, there's real people that have to deal with this because these fucking oligarchs, are taking over both the Republican and the Democratic Party. And just to give you another example, a very conservative senator in this state, because North Carolina generally has, Republican senators the last couple of runs. Wow, man, you really risking it. Tom Tillis, he's actually retiring. He crashed out on Trump. By the way, I voted for Trump. So just so people understand what time this is, and I'm a registered Democrat. So we put it all out there. So all this, pro-black, all this bullshit that a lot of people like to say, and all this bullshit people want to say, whatever. But like I said, Tom Tillis, conservative senator, he actually crashed out on Trump, and he's still low-key crashing out. He actually pretty much is, he's resigning. This is his last term, and then probably the Democratic governor of this state, the last one, Roy Cooper, is probably going to win because he's very popular here, and there's really nobody with the kind of name recognition and stuff. He's good. He's going to win because we already got one Republican senator, and we've had two for a minute. So usually, yeah, somebody's good. Yeah, he's going to win. So anyway, the point is nobody expected him to retire like that and he retired one, and so he took this retirement to go at Trump because of what the omnibus bill that he's doing is gonna affect North Carolinians. Let me be very clear here. His bill, and I voted for Trump, so I'm not on this, I'm not a MAGA person, but still, that's gonna fuck white people up. That's why he crashed out, because he's still asking in the stuff when they have it. I think he asked, what's called the Health and Human Services Secretary, what's his name, Kennedy. He asked, how is this going to affect North Carolina? He's not being specific, because it's going to remove a lot of white people. The white people I was just talking about, in the rural areas, they got to get fucked with no Vaseline. The women, the men, they got to get fucked. That's why he crashed out. He wouldn't have crashed out over if it was just going to affect black people like that. He knew it was going to affect the rural folks, not the people in Charlotte or Raleigh where I'm at, like none of that. He knew it was going to affect the rural folks, and that's why he crashed out. And he still crashed it out. And I say that to say that I don't give a fuck about some kumbaya shit. I don't give a fuck. My point is, now I'm about to get to a real part of this video. This shit affects your people. This is why you a coward. This is why you pussy. Because you motherfuckers, it ain't so much Trump. The pressure y'all should be putting on ain't even really Trump. It's really the corporations. Corporations, and I'm a capitalist, but corporations, I'm a small C capitalist, not a big C multinational corporation capitalist. These corporations have gotten so big that they might as well be governmental bodies. And the reason why I don't respect most of y'all in the white manosphere is because you all are some fucking castrated, yellow, bitch-made fucking cowards. Even Neanderthals had more fucking balls than y'all do. You all are fucking weak. You all can't even go after your own grandparents that act like they about to take the money with them on some Egyptian pharaoh, who were black, by the way, fuck you, pharaoh type of shit. They about to lock themselves up in tombs and take your money with them. At least our elders ain't got money to give. Well, they did, but our parents sold us out with by splitting the houses for a check. But that's another thing. The point is, at least we know they ain't got the wealth to give like that. Y'all motherfuckers, like to talk like this is a white country. And hold on, and by the way, the reason why Legion of Men gets on my nerves is because he don't got enough balls to be like Nick Fuentes. At least Nick Fuentes stands in, I hate using this term, but we'll use it in this context, his truth, and takes all of the smoke that comes with it. Even though I think he's a pimp squeak, I can't deny he takes all the smoke. Richard Spencer did the same thing. Fuck, I don't give a fuck about these people. And I don't particularly like these people. But the reality is, you're a coward. You would never take that kind of smoke. Because you know what actually comes with that. And that's not a dare. I understand the YouTube policy. Obviously, somebody's not going to take his bag and shoot himself and shoot his bag. I wouldn't expect anybody to do that. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of you white men, and that's not everybody. I particularly like Andrew Wilson, who's more in the TradCon situation, even though his wife has said some goofy shit, but whatever. And I particularly like the Whatever Show. But a lot of you like incel sympathizers that y'all want to blame the BBC for everything. The reality she got stabbed is because that motherfucker wasn't in an insane asylum. And the reality, and you shoot, and guess what, you dumb motherfucker? You can shoot as many motherfuckers if you want to. Crazy people are crazy people for a reason. They don't give a fuck about that. So all these little threats, which you ain't go do that shit, you won't go and handle them. I bet you won't. Just like I had to call black men out for Zimmerman, even though he's a white Hispanic. Talking all that shit. And it just is what it is. You gotta wear it. You ain't gonna do shit. That's for the police. But you talking big boy talk. Like you them. And you're not. The reality of the situation is, the biggest issue I have with the white manosphere is you all are fucking cowards, and you all won't even go. Y'all talk all this shit. Y'all will talk about the J people as if they're your biggest issue, but y'all won't. Y'all let them butt fuck you like a puppet and tell you what to do, and y'all just wear that shit. The motherfucker y'all thought was gonna save you said he was gonna be the best president for the country we all know what we're talking about of anybody ever saw. You didn't check him on that because you're scared. Even though you're white, you're scared. And y'all want to talk about quote unquote wokeness. That's some shit white people did. Wokeness was pretty much being red pill. Being aware of what you're dealing with and how to navigate. You let white women take that and weaponize that against you as a lightning rod in order to strike down any white boys that they didn't like. And you all basically butt fucked that, took that. The conservatives have a conservative problem. Mike Johnson, the speaker, I believe it's his name, I'm blanking, is a conservative. DeSantis, they're conservatives. Y'all are not handling that. But y'all got big boy talk for everybody but the motherfuckers that actually stole your future. Your fucking parents and your grandparents, really parents, stole your future. If you Thanos snap all black people from existence in the United States, you still have this problem, you dumb fuck. Hell, I make the argument if you Thanos all black people out of existence, you would still have this problem. Like SWB said, he's absolutely right. The default state of Europeans is feudalism. You all like having the lessers, and the only difference, if black people didn't exist, the only thing that you would see is now we would start breaking y'all down in ethnic. The Irish would be at the bottom, the Portuguese and the Spaniards would be at the bottom, Now we'll start going who's blonde hair and blue eyes versus who's a brunette and who has brown hair and brown off the map. Now the Slavics, you know, the chick you're trying to jump up and down for, she's Ukrainian, she's a blonde hair queen, and it's tragic. I empathize. Look, I'm not about to defend what he did. I don't give a fuck how crazy he is. I'm not about to defend that. That is what it is. But this thing when you like, yeah, man, we gotta get these stuff. You ain't gonna do shit. Even the motherfuckers that like to shoot up schools and shit, they don't never go to the hood. Y'all don't never go to Chicago. What about Chicago? What the fuck about it? Y'all don't never go in these cities because y'all cower behind the military. The military, that, by the way, black people don't owe you shit. We shed more blood for this country than any other group outside of white people, and that's only because of numbers. All these bullshit ass wars. So this thing about we don't gotta prove shit. And I can't stand these fucking bitch ass white. And look, I dated a white Canadian, so shout out to Quebec. So I'm not even like jumping, and I'm not really talking about the folks in Quebec, because that's kind of separate a little bit. But these fucking white Canadians that always like to, talk shit because like, ain't even no black people where y'all at outside of Toronto. So y'all don't even got a BBC problem like that. Fucking is big. Trump was right. Y'all would be the 51st state. I don't give a damn how mad y'all are. Y'all as big as California. And California's got a bigger economy than y'all fucking do. Y'all don't sit your ass down and shut the fuck up and wait for us to call where we want that damn fucking those oil sands. You better. Oil sands, hockey, and maple syrup. Y'all ain't shit. Light-skinned niggas in New Orleans, LA, and Chicago had y'all scared. You don't give a fuck, shut the fuck up. And so these little fucking passive-aggressive posts, because he's put a lot. These little micro-aggressive posts, just like Rolo had that burner account. You all are pussy. And your women know it. That's the problem. The issue now is the reason why black men are not black women. We are not crashing out for like black women to crash out for white women. We're not doing that. You're gonna have to get your weak ass up and actually stand on some shit. I know y'all not used to doing that. Y'all have this belief that these rich white people don't give a fuck about you. You can look at Europe and see that. We're about to be Europe. But instead, you want to get mad. Oh, how dare she do that? How dare this thuggery? That motherfucker was crazy. Let me tell you something. The most dangerous Negroes are the ones that are mentally unstable. That might as well be Resident Evil type shit. Just like the most dangerous white boys are the ones that lose their will to live because they don't believe in going out by themselves. Obviously, the majority of people that pack themselves up actually don't take people with them. We need to be honest about that. But I can't stand these fucking weak-ass white manosphere cowards. I can't stand it. I'm not saying y'all gotta out yourselves as open racists. I don't give a fuck about that. But y'all need to start calling out this oligarchy, these big-ass fucking corporations. Y'all bitch about it all the time. Whether you're bitching about the media quality, whether you're bitching about the jobs and being undercut, y'all bitch about it, but y'all want to blame the races that are benefiting, which black men are not benefiting, but y'all don't want to blame the corporations that are basically selling y'all out. Because y'all hope, because they dangle the carrot, just like white women dangle black women a carrot. Yeah, we'll make it about women. It's not about race. And then black women are always holding the empty bag looking like dummies. Y'all are the same dummies. Well, you know, we got to protect, you know, the whole black, all these buzzwords. And y'all fall for that. The last time somebody had some balls was when they tried to do the Occupy Wall Street. They fucking crushed, I guess they crushed your nuts when they crushed that shit too. So y'all can say what you want to say about black men, what you go do, what you not going to do shit. Y'all go behind the police. The biggest thing black people got to worry about with y'all is having a speed dial to 911 with that white shit. And that's Tuesday. We're not the Koreans. We're in a constant state of being fucked with. So ultimately, that's a tragedy. It is. But let's be real here. If the medical, like SWP said, if the medical facilities were properly funded, he'd probably be in an insane asylum. And you wouldn't have to worry about that. But to do that, a lot of homeless people will probably be done too. And we can't do that. Because, you know, that's mainly black folks. Or we can't have decent housing. Talking about, yeah, we're going to do a firing squad. I'm tired. We're going to do it. Yeah, you talking about someone else doing it. Because you're not going to do shit. And about 95% of y'all ain't going to do shit. And everybody knows it. Everybody is starting to know it globally. You all have and I'm gonna wrap this up with this. And I've been saying this. White people have a much bigger problem than the BBC. The fact that y'all are so overwhelmingly consumed with the BBC and black people and whatever other group, it's like you all don't understand there's a world out there. Have you seen Europe? Europe ain't got shit to do with black people. Have you seen Europe? Have you seen Italy? We knew Greece was fucked up because of austerity. Have you seen Italy? All the time, oh my God, I can't believe she said what she said. She ignored the black woman. I'm so glad Julia Roberts checked her and Andrew Garfield, which, yeah, they handled that with class. I'll give it to that Italian was being an idiot. But have you seen Italy? The Italians don't want to be in Italy. The Italians go to the greater EU because Italy's a piece of shit. Outside of Naples and some of the Mediterranean, like, oh, this looks very nice. It's still third world with a couple of high-end shit. Fucking white people look at Europe from a romanticism standpoint. That's why they got pickpockets everywhere. That's why that white woman had to jack up that Italian chick, who was white, by the way. Talk about criminality, and they're sitting there like, don't jack up our pickpockets. These are white people. These are white people that are pickpocketing. Yes, there's other groups too. But every time it runs into a situation, do black, whatever. I'm team that white chick calling out ICE on them Koreans, because real fucking talk, I don't give a fuck. I've worked overseas before. I don't know what the fuck you all are running Hyundai. Fuck how you say it. It's how it's said here. Hyundai, Sunday, Hyundai. Which is why we say it that way. We're going to say it the English way, not the Korean way, because you're selling cars to us. I don't see no GMCs or Cadillacs being sold in Korea. Did you know, on another note, did you know that they sell like Kias for like 50, 60, 70,000 in their own countries? Are you fucking serious? Anyway. But y'all, and I'm not, you don't have to like black people. That's not what this is about. The problem, you don't have to like black people. My issue is that you all are so consumed with black people because you all are sexually insecure, which I don't know why. My personal thing that I would tell any white boy, I would tell any incel, like straight up, because I'd rather y'all be good than y'all people wanting to shoot shit up, is I'm like, dude, you need to get some basic social skills and just in fact, before you even get the social skills, go to Brazil. Go to Brazil. If you go to Japan, go anywhere in Latin America because it's cheap. You could go being a broke ass backpacker. You could be broke with you could have rags on and these fucking Pocahontas and these fucking, hell, even the mestizos, they're going to worship you. If you need to go somewhere to get your confidence, go to Latin America. I don't see you motherfuckers saying that. You know what's funny is you bitch ass mother white manosphere people don't even be helping these incels. These white boys that are struggling. You all actually take advantage of their anger and you actually leverage it for views. You actually don't even help them because all you would have to do is say, look, you need to get your ass in a damn Uber. If you got to rent an Uber, do that. If you ain't got nothing else to do, build you up some money, take you a fucking vacation, go get some of these white looking or as close to white, like you ain't gotta deal with the black chicks. Just get the black chicks, oh, they'll worship you like you're a god. But go to the, and I know this personally, you go to Asia, Asia's a little bit expensive, go to Latin America, they'll worship you. They'll worship you like a god. You'll get some confidence back. You'll get some balls back. Go, get you a nut in a couple of these chicks, and you're like, oh, it's not that hard. Oh, that's all you got to do. You don't even tell them that. Y'all don't even game them up. There's a website called Club Hombre. There's this like been around since the 90s. I don't even know if it still exists. Where older white people used to go back and forth, in forums. I know what the stuff is. Y'all don't be gaming them up. Y'all take advantage of their anger and y'all act like you care. But y'all don't care enough to not get these YouTube views though. So you keep on like gaslighting this fucking like throwing the fire on the BBC. Understand, these white bitches are choosing us. Truth be told, black men don't even give a fuck about white women like that. Truth be told, and I'm gonna say this and I'll be done. The truth be told, there's not a lot of black men fucking with white women, like, to be honest. That's just some shit the media shows you all to make y'all feel insecure to watch it. But the truth is that if y'all wouldn't have fucked our community up and basically let these black women get out of pocket and incentivize them to get out of pocket, more black men would be fucking with black women anyway and wouldn't even want to deal with your fucking stick figure ass chicks. Like, real fucking talk. That's the fucking truth. The fucking truth is, I've always told black women, and by the way, the reason why white women always around black athletes is because black athletes is where the money is. So yeah, they're gonna be there because they're told to get resources from anybody if that opportunity is done. White women, like, truth be told, white women can't go overseas like that and have as much motion as white men can. Everybody ain't white men do not view women as a gateway into their community like women view men as a gateway into the community, which is why whiteness is so validated amongst the men. How other races of women, they did studies on, white men did studies on this, how they said white men are preferred of every group of women and then they're men, but that's not true with white women. White women, it's the men, other races of men prefer their own first. It's not true. It doesn't carry the same kind of weight. And then maybe another, white women could be second, maybe third, depending on who you're dealing with. But nobody talks about that. Now, if you're an exceptional white female, that's different. But on the law averages, it's not like that. So nobody's stunting your chicks like that. That's some shit y'all say in order to justify violence. They're really not. And so ultimately, these white chicks go out of their way. I have seen white women go over the river through the woods to go to hood clubs. Nobody's telling them to do that. They're not being kidnapped. Fuck out of here. You know that, and that's why y'all mad. Because if it was really the dudes with snatching these chicks up, y'all would love that, because that gives you cause for violence. But they're not giving you that cause, so you're frustrated. But this is and so like I was saying, the black manosphere exists because of bitch ass motherfuckers like you. Motherfuckers that rather than helping these white boys, they needed help. And or checking their ass and saying the BBC ain't your real problem, it's power. You all basically gaslit their ass to now they don't know what the fuck to do. And now it's obvious. It is obvious that black men are not your problem. But yet, that's the main thing y'all always love to come back to. Y'all like black women. Actually, black women and white men have a lot in common, especially in regard to the black man. You all have these little issues that you all both are too cowardly to actually deal with. So what you do is you project like a motherfucker. That's why the reason y'all don't really like talking about race, because a lot of black men can talk very matter-of-factly about it. It's not even about, look at what you did, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this country was formed by busting up a lot of European countries. Louisiana Purchase, Napoleon, Quebec, the Spanish-American War, that was fought against the Spaniards. And this country was formed off fucking other white people up too. America became the superpower off a European fucked up. So whatever, on top of slavery, we obviously know the cotton, the liquid gold, it was cotton. Which none of this would happen without that. That's the catalyst for everything, the railroad, everything. But we're not getting into that. The point is, we can talk from a certain matter of factness that y'all can't. Y'all have to lie. Because, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's why y'all gotta say racism doesn't exist. This is what you dumbass don't understand about that. In order for race, like you all, your issue is class, not race. But to deny class, race, is to, in a lot of ways, deny class. Because they intermix with each other in the way of how the oligarchs, the rich people, the elite, they never want too many. They always need everybody fractured. And so they gaslight you with race in order to keep you all not focused on their ass. Somehow, and somehow that works. Because you all are not intelligent. You know that's what they're doing. But you always fall for it. They literally use sexual insecurity to fuck y'all up. Even amongst the racial, I mean, the original unions were formed because they didn't want, black people with the skills, because we've been working as slaves all this time, to come up in the North and undercut jobs. That's why the unions are formed. The unions are racist. Whatever. But y'all let them get rid of y'all unions. Y'all unions. Y'all let them, we don't have health care, universal health care. Why? Because they don't want to give it to the black people. They don't want to give it to blacks because they thought our population would just whittle away and die. Well, our population has grown on a slower pace with abortion and all this other crazy stuff. But how many white people have died because healthcare wasn't funded properly? How many, we promoted abortion in the black community in order to control our population. What has that done to your population? On top of the fertility issues y'all have. Because black people don't know what a fertility clinic is unless the women get 40 years old or something. That's something that's common in y'all's culture. Every time you fuck with us, it is literally kicked back. It is literally kicked back on you. And that's the irony. The irony, even when it comes to reparations, African Americans are America's best representative in Africa. And now that the Chinese and Indians are in Africa, Indians first, then Chinese, and the Russians are in Africa, now y'all don't have shit really to do. You can't go to war directly in there because the whole world is going to turn against y'all. And quite frankly, y'all don't have the bodies to spare. And even if you did, these white folks, fuck vaccine, get these white folks malaria and see what's going to happen. Y'all can't even really go into Africa like that. Everything you all has been done has come back to bite you in the ass. But you acted just, my biggest issue with the white manosphere? My biggest issue with the white manosphere is y'all act like black women. Y'all do the same bullshit black women do, which is why we know how to deal with black women when it comes to countering their arguments, because they act just like y'all. I don't know who got what from where. I'm not here to litigate that, but what I will say is y'all got a lot in common, especially with how y'all deal with us. You are so worried about black people taking power. And by the way, here's the irony. The irony is, remember, black people are only as far and wide as a lot of black people are. Not the only reason, but the main reason is because of transatlantic slave trade. Black people all over the islands, black people that sit in America, whatever y'all want to say with the native shit, whatever. But you get that aside. Y'all did that. Y'all spread that around. Then, when it comes to COVID, y'all fucking, we could argue conspiracy when it comes to Ebola, when it comes to, fucking with trying to control the black population of Africa, and low key, Africans, because of genetic diversity and everything, COVID didn't really have COVID affected Africa the least. Because ironically, Africa is the least developed. So for a variety of different reasons, it actually protected them. So now the youngest population is in Africa, according to Elon Musk. You all fucked yourselves. You all fuck yourselves every day. And rather than taking fucking responsibility as a group and actually taking power from these fucking boomers, you all want to focus on the blacks. Which, by the way, your enemies, which ironically black men aren't, even though we should be, your enemies actually take advantage of that. Every day you worry about the BBC, China's getting stronger, other countries are developing more. And they don't think just because they want to be you. Understand something. The relationship between other races and white people is a very interesting one. It's a lot like Get Out. It's a lot like Get Out. They admire you because they want to be you. Just like how the white folks in Get Out, the liberals, admire, the physical aesthetic and the physical thespian. They wanted to be them. Meaning they want to replace them. Black people are only people that really don't want to be y'all like that. White people, Asian people don't want to be white as much as they just want to be taller or they want to be stronger. They want your genetic traits. They don't really give a fuck about you like that. The sad part about it is African Americans probably give more of a fuck about y'all because at the end of the day, we gotta fucking live here too than even these other groups. These other groups tell you what you want to hear. People like Vivek, they tell you what you want to hear. They gaslight you. They love, just like how pander to black women so they can extract what they need to extract from you. Truth be told, the worst thing y'all have an issue with black men about is fucking your women. Truth be told, we were gonna give the bitch back. And truth be told, the bitch came over here. Constantly knocking on the door. Like, bitch, what you want? I heard you on the BBC and I want to try it. I heard you're a bull. Is that true? Well, yes, I am. If you don't have sex with me, I'm going to say you took it anyway, so you might as well. That's a conversation between you and your own fucking women. And I grew up with white people. Italian, Mexicans pretending to be Italians. I've had issues. I've had, I've had cops that had let me out of shit they had no business letting me out of as far as insurance stuff. So I don't have this issue. This is not, oh my God, I just don't like white people. Like, if I never saw you ever again, I wouldn't care. But at the same time, I'm being very matter of fact. The reality is, you all need to step that shit up in the white manosphere. You all need to stop. Number one, you all need to start dealing with this parental fraud situation, paternity fraud situation. Number two, the fact that there was a fucking unlimited alimony. You all need to get off that cuck shit. And you need to fucking stop worrying about the big black cock is not going anywhere. That's an issue you need to check your women on. Anyway, even on the mission statement of what this shit is, these motherfuckers, Jesus. Anyway, well, let me see, get some of y'all super chat. Sorry about that. I was, shout out to Will IR for the $10. Make sure y'all, if you picking up what I'm putting down, make sure y'all support that Cash App. You know what to do. Shout out to Will IR with the $10. Male dudes have a history of throwing rocks and hiding their hands. The Boston Tea Party protesters dressed up like native aboriginals to avoid being identified. The KKK hoods. Yeah, I mean, they're cowards. Yeah, they have a history of that shit. They have a history. They don't stand. They have a history of that shit. They know what time it is. What's up, Dr. Thunder? Shout out to Xanatone's Clutches to $5. Make sure y'all jump on Xanatone's Clutches channel. He's got videos he's doing. He's back, so make sure y'all support him. One thing I'll give white Germans credit is that they know who their ops are. They know that black men aren't the problem in their country. Yeah, I mean, it ain't enough black men in their country. It's not. So, I mean, whatever. It's not enough black people in Europe like that. Quiet as it's kept. And that's another thing they've always been real insecure about. It's all, they brought too many over here and they went overboard when they did the breeding thing when it comes to, you know, black people. They've always felt some type of way about that. And so my thing is, I'm very pragmatic on this shit. You know, y'all talk about black people and black culture. Motherfucker, y'all the ones that, when it comes to black culture, white boys bought hip-hop music. Y'all are pretty much the main reason hip-hop got commodified, corporatized to the extent that it did. That's you all's fault, particularly in the extra generation. That's you all's fault. We gave you rock and roll, and yes, we fucking gave you rock and roll, and y'all gave that shit back and started rapping. What the fuck is wrong with you? Where's my motivational music when I'm working out? God damn. We gave y'all a lot of genres. The only thing y'all kept was country music. And yes, we gave you fucking country music too. The rest of it y'all gave back. I want to listen to rap. Nobody told y'all to buy that shit. Y'all did. Not the white women. Y'all bought that shit. Y'all the ones that made all the money on it. We gonna just be getting money through athletics, and then we keep it culture. Y'all don't want to take accountability for shit. Just like how y'all thought that, you know, y'all still waiting for that windfall, that $1 trillion windfall, multi-trillion-dollar windfall these white boys supposed to give you, these older y'all fathers supposed to give you. The problem is they're living too long, and they dead set take the money with them. And so this is allowing me to kind of eat, like, you know, he's been, look, and I don't watch his shit, but in my Discord, people post, you know, and I told people a lot of times to stop posting certain people like that, but, you know, he always got these little slick things he likes to say. This shit kind of reminds me of Rolo. You know, Rolo felt some type of way with Kevin Samuels. Nobody told white people to watch Kevin Samuels. Nobody told white people to watch that. Y'all got to, shout out to whatever show. It's a good show. Shout out to Andrew Wilson. It's a good show. With white people on it, with a couple of, you know, black people every once in a long while. Shout out to Q-Tip. Like, what are we doing? You know, white on white's a good example of the white culture, even when people are not white. Shit, that shit look like a goddamn hospital. It's so light white up in that bitch. 4 million. People, oh man, Kevin blew. You know why Kevin blew up? Because Kevin was willing to show his face. That's why. Y'all got Rich Cooper? Shit. I'll never forget when I accidentally outed a Mexican dude was telling people in my school that he was Italian. Turns out he was, you know, I told him, I was like, you're Mexican, you're not fucking Italian. I'm from Chicago, man. I know what Italians look like in their varieties. And I'm like, you're not, like, he's like, you know, I had nerve to call a chick dirty that I was dealing with. You know, she was trying to, oh, she's dirty. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, well, you know, she deals with black guys. I'm like, you're Mexican. And apparently he was telling people he was Italian. Boy, the rage in him. That's why I laugh with Nick Fuentes, man. It's like, come on. And a lot of these fucking Hispanic whites, these like adjacent whites, y'all are just useful idiots. In the end, y'all won't be considered white either. I'll laugh at that shit. You take black people out of the room, we'll see how white y'all actually are. You know, Braga and all of that. It should be funny as hell, man. Even with Nick Fuentes, it's like, motherfucker, you're not white. Italians were considered white. They literally changed the law, took y'all off the color side in like 1988. I should have a shirt, Italians white since 1988. Still traumatized over the Moors. And then you got, you know, this Italian chick that tried to be slick with this black chick. And then Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield, yeah, you know, that's going around TikTok. I like how they handle it. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Well, you know, ask a question about wokeness, and then you just decided not to ask the black chick. It's like, yeah, you fucked around and you found out. They valued her being American over you being Italian. It's like, yo, y'all ain't even white like that. Y'all are one of the countries that actually, you know, pull that too. But notice how I didn't even have to go there. But as far as Nick, but notice I didn't even have to go there. But yeah. And it's like, yo, like, you know, and you know, Italians are very beautiful people, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, man, you know, Italy is like a step above Greece. You know, remember, Italy is the country that failed to conquer Ethiopia. They got as far as Eritrea, and the Ethiopians whooped their ass. They was able to fight that back. Remember that. The Italians are the ones that, even the Dutch was conquering shit, as small as that country is. You all are not Romans, and when you were, you are a lot darker than what y'all like to act like you are. That bronze, olive color that white people do not consider white. But that's that internal politics white people have amongst their own complexion, goofy ass shit. We got bigger things to worry about than you all's BBC insecurities. I'm really getting tired of that shit. Because y'all don't even really be talking about shit that matters. Y'all really be, oh, the BBC, man. Oh my God. Why can't these Reagans? You get it, Reagan. You get it, Reagan. You know, IR spelled backwards. Why can't these Reagans just go away? Oh my God. And the truth is, a lot of y'all need to go. Y'all just need to go overseas. Y'all ain't gotta look, man. A lot of these chicks ain't studying like y'all need to go to some of these countries to get your confidence back. Cause trust and believe, these like ass Martin. A lot of these chicks, they be worshiping whiteness. Y'all just can't get that in America. And that's y'all fault. Let me see. That's y'all fault. Y'all want to get mad. Like y'all like black women worried about white females. That shit is annoying, man. All these little subliminals. Yeah. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. You know, we need a firing squad. We need a firing squad. No more chances, no more strikes. And my first thought in my head, because look, I'm not defending that shit, but my first thought in my head is, y'all have never had that kind of energy when they go in elementary school to just air out children, huh? And they look like you. Children, it can be your daughter, your son, just taking their little, you know, lunchbox and lunch pail and their little tablet, and you know, some idiot decides, I want to go to the elementary school today and air that out. Y'all don't never have that kind of energy. I always find that fascinating. Y'all go, he was mentally ill. He was mentally ill. And, you know, well, you don't even go that deep into it, and I went into it mental health. Y'all just, he was mentally ill, you know. What are we really going to do, John? Like, seriously. I mean, what do you expect us to do? I mean, we can't get them all. I'm in a mall, so, I mean, you know, he killed himself. What are we going to do? We go after their parents. That's another thing I would do. Anybody that shoots up a school again, and you understand, you do that, I'm coming after your mom and your dad. That's what type of time that's about to be. So just understand, especially if that gun wasn't registered to you, that's exactly what I would say. You're not now. Okay, I didn't realize they had a stand there. That's good. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. That Haagen-Dazs ice cream be joint. For real. And I'm not mad. I'm just saying matter of fact. Some of this stuff I've been thinking about for a little, not really thinking about it, but it's like when you see these posts, you be like, come on now. A lot of this stuff, it's like, yo, you don't have to like black people. I don't give a damn about that. But the irony is that the level, the energy that's been created to like mess us up. The reality is, people, we would be somewhat separated if you stop fucking our own economies up. And that's the lie that nobody likes to talk about. Is we did have our own economy, but the problem is you had that terrorism called Jim Crow that people kept on doing. We had our own stuff. But see, the problem is they don't really want us to have our own economy. It's not necessarily it's going to compete with the United States, but what they didn't want, and if stuff ever went global, like we would be able to bring in money like on our own from a global standpoint. Because they never thought about, okay, how can this be leveraged to our example? Like if you talk about Liberia and you talk about putting a base on Liberia, Liberia would have been like a new Puerto Rico. There's a base on there. Black people are over there, so black people dealing with them over there. That's less healing. Y'all don't think 2 steps ahead because that's not the real issue. And so y'all have these little, like even from a purely logical standpoint, y'all really have to have leaps in logic. You all have to have leaps in logic in order to come to conclusions that you all come to. This is why, as SWP has said, a lot of y'all are ahistorical. You all have to, everything starts in 1980. You all have to do that because that's the only way you can make it actually fit. See, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. And so, at the end of the day, y'all are looking to be mad at somebody, but ultimately, people that look like you are the reason why you're in this situation, and y'all can't handle that. Even the stuff that's happening in the Middle East is still funded by people that look like you, regardless if they're being coerced to do it or not, and y'all can't handle it. And it's hilarious to me. And yet y'all keep on literally jumping on 6% of the population. Black males are 6% of the population. Yet y'all keep making these little subliminals. And look, is he the worst one? No, he's not. But he came across my desk today, and he picked the right day. Like a lot of y'all are off mission. And and this is why, by the way, this is why the Black Manosphere exists. Because at the end of the day, y'all really thought we were just gonna let y'all just talk all this shit, up under us? Oh, you need, like, y'all actually, black men are the few men that don't want to be here. We don't want to be here. Like, straight up. And that's always been true. But that has never been more true than that is now. That has always been true. But that has never been more true than like now. So anyway. Appreciate Nick with the $5. I actually got, I got a video somebody wanted me to do of the future of like the United States and where stuff is going, at least my opinion on that. So that's coming. I mean, for real, when you really understand the level of energy that's been put to like the more you understand about black culture, the more you understand the damage that has been done and sustained stuff that's been done. It never stopped. The policies never stopped. The policies just changed. The dial kind of adjusted a little bit. But ultimately, the actual manipulations never stopped. Oh, well, slavery was a long time ago. Yo, North Carolina literally had to pay out people from the Tuskegee Airmen and the experiments. That basically, the genetic experiments that was going on with African Americans, that happened in the state. Just because we don't talk about these things, don't mean they don't happen. Like, seriously. Like, when you look at the medical association, you can look at stuff today when it comes to, child mortality rates and other things. The policies, a lot of people don't realize that what, the H dude, the American Medical Association used to be real buddy-buddy real collaboration with in the 1912s and stuff like that, like right after World War One, with the American Media Medical Association with the German Medical Association. They used to be real buddy buddy. That's where the H gene got what he did from. That's where he got that idea from. One of the reasons why Eisenhower was like, this is not who we are, we can't do it this way, and one of the main things that kind of paved the way for integration, because they saw what that would actually look like. But again, a lot of you all can't acknowledge your history because it's too many dark corners in it. And y'all can't be the good guys. So you're locked. And understand that's cowardice. See, I can own faults if it's necessary. Y'all can't. Or what you do, you try to justify it. As if you want to play by rules, that if people play by those same rules, you get upset. Or if they create, and God forbid, they create their own rules. But ultimately, when it comes to the men issue, you all are a much bigger threat than African American men. All these policies, all this stuff that they're doing, all this censorship, that affects you because they need to control you because you have the guns. See, the problem is African Americans, they can always be heavy-handed with us, so they don't have that issue. They're like, we can justify it. We need the community. We can get the nation get on board with, we really got to stop, like really go in and do something. They can do that. They can't do that with you all. Because if they go after you all, they don't know that the military is going to co-sign that. Like the military is going to co-sign that. The police force is going to co-sign that because they look like you. So they're not going to be as willing to play that game. So you are actually a much bigger threat. This is why if you look at how they handled Kevin Samuels, or how Kevin Samuels, he ended up, obviously passing away. But how that happened versus Tate. Because Tate looks like he, even though Tate's mixed. I mean, even Tristan Tate had a thing talking about y'all need to get it together. Talking about he showed a picture of his grandfather, which is pretty much like, I don't know, African, whatever, and then showed him, which is crazy. And he's literally get out, right? And then he said, yeah, the world without white people would suck. Y'all need to get your shit together. which is an interesting piece of content, because on the one hand, it's like he's talking shit to y'all, but at the same time, acknowledge, I love how people play both ways on that shit. But y'all are the issue, because y'all got the guns. Black people got guns like that. Yeah, you got YN, blah, blah, but overall, we ain't got guns. We ain't got guns like that. So, why is this kept? That's actually a low-key problem. Shout out to SWP, get on that. But, because a lot of black people don't even believe in having guns. So, y'all are the issue. The only difference between you here in Europe is the guns. So, good job. But understand, y'all are a problem. So, when y'all are talking, that's much more of a threat because you're talking to each other. Y'all being angry is much more threatening than us being angry because they can't handle y'all like they can handle us. So you worried about us, they're worried about you. And I'm pointing my finger in the phone and twisting it when I want to be extra annoying. And so ultimately, it gets annoying that you all can't get the big black dick off the brain. Because I promise you, if a white dude would have did this, you wouldn't have posted that. If a white dude would have did this, that probably wouldn't even hit your radar. Tell me I'm lying. Anyway. Alright, let me get some of the shit y'all saying and then I'm done. Oh, I thought it'd be longer than an hour and 14 minutes. It is. The YN is their creation. And it is quite frankly pathetic because this stuff is so obvious at this point, yet they're still falling for the same tricks. And that's one of the reasons I'm proud of Black Manosphere. Because y'all do what y'all do with everything. Y'all burn it out because you burn everything out. because you're trying to commodify it. Y'all burnt off the dating community. Trying to commodify it. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, everybody sees. Everybody sees. It's all like, I don't know what girl, it's just like this. You know? Ah, that's funny, Joe. I mean, yeah, I do think we need to start looking into that a lot more. Like, at least the information on it. Shout out to Clutch. Clutch says in one of the last plays are doing just out of hatred and convince everybody else haters is the welfare state, even though they get more money out of the welfare state. And not only the welfare state, but even the scam welfare state. That's immigrants. That ain't us. I mean, you know. But again, they're worried about what they're worried about. Because truth be told, shoot. So I mean, yeah, did you put extra on it? Yes. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pragmatic about it. I don't have this issue. But the thing is, you have all these issues that they always like dump off on us, which is not going to solve the problem because we're not the problem. and people are talking about black culture as if we like I was looking at a couple of TikToks. A lot of folks think, black people are 33% of the population. They don't know what size of the population we are. We're projected bigger than that because of the media. It's the same thing with LGBT stuff. But rather than checking that, like for real, and some people get close to it with the black box stuff and stuff like that. Nah, they wanna make an excuse, and that's how you know people ain't really trying to solve. They're not trying to identify the problem and solve it. They're trying to identify the problem to create an excuse. And what they really need to be mad at, they're too cowardly to actually, deal with. So they just punch down. And at the end of the day, it's kind of hilarious for me because I know that's not going to solve the problem. Even if you take it to that inevitable conclusion, that doesn't change your situation. It doesn't. But y'all can't see that. And I don't know what to even think about that. Yeah, I mean, let's keep it real. If it was a white dude that did that shit, he wouldn't even care like that. So, they always thought that crap like crime. They always try to insinuate if black people didn't exist, crime wouldn't exist. That's a lie, because that's the lie. Y'all done fought 2 world wars, but y'all really love believing that shit, huh? Like, y'all fucking stupid. I keep saying a lot of that racism. I'm not necessarily saying wanting your kids to look like you is a mental, but that racism, like when you just suspend all logic, whoo. But going back to the mental health thing, that's why that shit happened. He's absolutely right. That's why that happened. And people want to sit here. It's just like with the school shootings. Y'all eat the school shootings no matter how many of them happen. Like, let's keep it real. And that's multiple upon multiple people. And those are other white people. Y'all eat that, but with this, that's the last straw. We're just going to, shoot. Like, basically what he's doing is advocating for vigilante justice. That's what he's really talking about. We're gonna do a firing squad. We're gonna patrol it. White people are the most in danger from other white people. And white people know that. I don't know why you trying to act like that's not true. Shout out to Big Chris Entertainment. It's time for black men to leave America behind. This country is about, black people, whether I agree with that or don't, black people are not going to do that. So, black people are not going to do that. The passport bro situation has shown me that more, or reminded me of that. Black people are not going to do that. So, that's an individual situation. And a lot of it is this, and my thing is, yeah, man, it's time to leave America behind. America's racist. The world is racist. It's not just America. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people try to act like America's like the only place racism is, or European. White people are not the only people that are racist as fuck, or prejudiced as fuck. And that's something black people need to get it in their head too. He don't. This probably wouldn't even hit his desk had it been another white dude. That's why they get all bent out of shape. Little slogans and shit. But anyway, y'all, I said what I said. It is what it is. Shout out Black Huru. I saw Black Huru in the comment section I was in TikTok. Black Huru be checking the motherfuckers too. We should have kept rock and roll. They single-handedly killed that genre. They really did. They really did. But black people want to be in love with hip-hop so bad. But anyway, y'all, this has been great. Appreciate y'all showing up. With that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.